right, so that's it. We did 4 chapters on Jackie, just 1 on Fred, and now we're moving on to Artie Lang.
Yeah.
We got the Artie Lang chapter.
I had no idea that John discovered Artie Lang.
Dude, this is insane. The credit that he takes for Artie Lang's success.
I have learned so much. This book is
This is my favorite part.
very informative.
This is my favorite part of it. Now, he has said many times that him and Artie were best friends on the show.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, he's not going to bash Artie, obviously, if they were best friends.
No, remember the ABB.
Well, yeah, exactly. Here's how it starts.
Artie Lang, Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde the heroine.
Right out of the gate.
For Christ's sake, the guy had an addiction problem. You would think a guy like Stuttering John would have some empathy for addiction.
Stuttering John has taken a page out of Brendan Schaub's book of having no sympathy.
You're right, exactly. Also, Artie wasn't on heroin when they worked together. That's the other crazy thing about this. John was there until 2004. Artie famously started using heroin when they moved over to the satellite days, and he was constantly on the road doing gigs and then having to get back and get up early in the morning, and it was fucking with the schedule. John wasn't a part of that. So the fact, and I know that John and Artie have obviously had things happen since then outside of the Howard Stern show, but it's just a weird fucking way. It's like, if you want to recount your experience with him on the Howard Stern show like he does, I don't know why heroin's brought up on here as like the chapter title.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
It just seems like a dick thing to do.
Oh, beyond that. And you do have to fill me in on those little details like you just did on the timeline of things, because
I will.
I just have the general overview.
I will, because there's some crazy shit going on here. All right. It starts off with what John remembers from going to SNL. Now, the first time Artie was ever on the show, he came with Norm Macdonald because they were promoting Dirty Work, and Norm was on SNL at the time as the news anchor. So because of this connection, Gary and John got to go to Saturday Night Live, and this is what John remembers.
And when Gary and I went to SNL and went to the bar for the after party, Norm couldn't have been more gracious. It was one of those things that neither Gary nor I were aware of. Many famous people listened to the show and were big fans of ours. It never dawned on me. It was completely humbling.
First off, humbling.
Yeah, I don't think that's
You're
the
bragging about it.
Yeah.
You're bragging about it now. It's happened a long time ago. That was so humbling. We're fucking amazing. Can you believe how amazing we are?
Someone was nice.
I love that he remembers drinking at the after party and a compliment he got.
Yeah.
Those are the things he remembers from SNL. What was the cold open, John? Who was the musical guest? I don't know, but we got drunk afterwards, and Norm said he loved the show.
Brilliant, John. It's all brilliant.
It's all brilliant, yep. So then we talk about replacing Jackie Martling. Now, what happened was, once Jackie's contract negotiations blew up and they decided, okay, we're just going to find someone else to sit in his chair, they started bringing people in like a week at a time to kind of audition. Just to get a feel for the show and the rhythm and who would make sense there. And a lot of big names that you know were in that chair. And one of those people was Richard Jeni. Richard Jeni's a very famous stand-up comedian. And of course, Stuttering John was nice enough to give Richard some advice. Yeah. Because John knew how to, he should have been in that chair, obviously.
Right.
He knew how to be in that chair. So he's going to tell Richard.
He selflessly got out of the way of being in that chair.
He did. He's like, you know what? Let me take you under my wing, Richard Jeni. Talk to you about show business. Here's how show business works. It stinks
under here.
I told him, Richard, you're doing great, but maybe just speak off the cuff. You know, the show is about reality. If I were you, I wouldn't go into my act or anything.
Which is hilarious, because when John goes on other people's shows now, he immediately goes into his act.
Yep.
So he's giving Richard Jeni advice that he himself does not use.
Well, he's saying if I were you.
Yeah, right, yeah. But Richard Jeni has a good act, though.
Right.
If anyone should go into their act, it's like a good comedian. Instead, John goes on and says a Uber joke.
Too many jokes in your act.
You get too many laughs. Yeah. Every time that happens, you have to pause, you have to wait, you have to stop laughing.
You lose your concentration.
I just love that John's the one explaining to people to just be natural and real. We just heard that interview he did in Iowa, where he's just trying to shoehorn in his fucking jokes every chance he got.
It is so great that he would help out Richard Jeni.
You see, I always try and help people, because what else are we here for?
What else are we here for? Richard Jeni, come here. I'll help you out, buddy.
Well, I'm here for free drinks also.
All right. So then he's going to talk about Jeff Ross, was also one of the guys who was auditioning for the Jackie chair. And I don't even want to say they're auditioning. Maybe they're just invited to come on for a week and they're like, yeah, cool. I don't know that everyone would have accepted this gig because it's 6 a.m. Monday through Friday in New York. It's not for everyone. And some of these people have shit going on. But anyway, so Jeff Ross is asked to do it. And John knew Jeff Ross from the Friars Club. And of course, for whatever reason, he has to get in a dig at Jackie here.
I remember hanging out with Jeff Ross for the brief time I was a friar at the club. I had to get out. The dudes were killing me. No wonder Jackie had to hawk his T-shirts and knickknacks on the stage.
ABB. Yep. Always be bashing. Judd could say, I couldn't afford it. Instead, he says, Jesus Christ, it's kind of expensive. No wonder Jackie's such a cheap jerk. Yeah. He was selling as much merch as he could. Okay.
Why'd you bring that up?
Why'd you bring that up? It wasn't a joke. It was just a dig at Jackie. Yep. Just always be bashing. It was a story about Jeff Ross.
Right, yeah. Hey, what happened to Jeff?
Yeah, he's like Jeff Ross came in, I gave him advice, I knew him from the Friars Club. Jackie's an idiot. Wait, what? What just happened right now? Okay. Weird. And then Craig Gass. Craig Gass is great. He was on the show a lot. He was one of the guys who sat in. He does all these impressions. Very funny guy. And for whatever reason, John can't just say, like, Craig Gass could have been Jackie's replacement. There's so many voices he does. He's really funny. Instead, he says,
Howard wasn't thrilled with Craig Gass because, let's face it, he was no Billy West. Billy knew when to go into an impression. Craig either didn't have the confidence or didn't have the wherewithal to do so. Howard felt he had to lead him to it, and even then, Craig was too oblivious to bite.
Do you think Howard had that conversation with stuttering John Melendez? I doubt it. I think that's John's opinion of it, not Howard's. Right? Howard loved Craig Gass.
Yeah, I can't imagine him going to John for anything except a potato.
Correct. Yeah.
or even then.
Even then, he probably fucked it up. So I decided to go ahead and bring an example of Craig Gass on the Howard Stern show, because if you're just reading this book, you'd be like, well, Billy West is way better. And by the way, compare people to Billy West is amazing.
Yeah.
So it's not like, well, he's no Billy West. Like, okay, well, no one is. It's fine. I wouldn't take that as a slight.
No, if I was in the same ballpark, I'd be happy. Holy
right.
shit.
The fact that you're bringing me up with Billy West, that's cool. That's neat. So this is an example. I wanted to bring something, and there's a ton of examples I could have brought, but I always love when Craig Gass does this Gene Simmons impression. And this is an example here of when Gene Simmons was a guest, and they surprised him with Craig Gass coming in full Gene Simmons from Kiss attire.
There he is.
You're killing me.
You claim to be the real Gene Simmons of Kiss?
Is this the person you're talking about?
Right. Who is the real Gene Simmons?
I think it's pretty obvious. Look, I'm not here to mess around with imposters.
You are right. You are dressed in Kiss outfit.
He's in the full Kiss.
You're in the full Kiss outfit. Yeah. You must be the real Gene Simmons.
Oh, wait a second. If we're talking about an outfit, this is the gentleman who's wearing the outfit. I mean, who is this? This is a businessman.
Right.
I'm the real Gene Simmons. I'm not here to talk about kids who walk around the country trying to be me. I mean, let's face it. Every year at Halloween, everybody wants to be what?
Gene Simmons. Right.
From Kiss Incorporated.
Right.
At Kiss.com.
That's right.
I'm going to talk about some...
What about the Kiss Army? Is that the Kiss Army has grown up now? They're very, very strong.
The Kiss Army is old.
Right.
The Kiss Army's been around a long time.
If you are the real Gene Simmons, tell me how many women you've had sex with.
Millions.
Millions.
That's true.
And Gene, what do you claim?
You're underestimating.
I've forgotten my name.
Business suit Gene. Yeah. How many have you claimed?
This morning?
Yeah. Have you had sex this morning?
Yes.
You have?
Certainly.
With who?
Of course.
With your
Two
beautiful
girls
mistress, Shannon Tweed?
No, Shannon is back home.
Who did you have sex with this morning?
I've got to remember her name.
You really don't.
Chandra Levy.
Chandra Levy. You had, Gene, in the makeup, you had sex with Chandra Levy.
Of course. You can't deny what an irresistibly sexually attractive man I am.
That's right.
Chandra Levy. There's Divine Brown.
Right.
Of course.
Janet Reno.
Janet Reno is one of the oldest Kiss Army members that goes way back.
The Kiss Army has grown up, and then you have a whole new legion of fans.
Do you realize you're going to have to walk home looking like that?
Of course.
Have you no shame?
How long did it take you to get into your Kiss makeup?
This is actually how we sleep. We actually
Doesn't take any time at all.
Well, listen, I'm not here to talk about the magic.
I can tell
of
Howard
Kiss.
can't stand this guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Craig Gass. I mean, he's never funny. He doesn't know what to do off the cuff. He's like killing it. Yeah. This is just one example that I found.
Yeah, it's great.
I just want to keep it going until the Kiss coffin thing.
Oh,
Because that always cracks me up.
We all know about the magic of Kiss, and we know that Kiss influenced pretty much every style of music.
That's right.
Rap, everything, you name it.
Gospel.
Is that true?
I'm here to talk
Oh,
about
yes.
It is really true?
But I'm not Gene, so what do I know?
That's right. You're just a Gene imposter. Go ahead. What do you want to say, Gene Simmons, who's dressed like Kiss?
A banker.
I'm really here to talk about some exciting Kiss products, like the Kiss Toilet that's coming out.
Kiss Toilet?
You'll be able to hear about this at kissonline.com. You're probably asking yourself,
What is a Kiss toilet?
right, now, Gene, what's the difference between a regular toilet and a Kiss toilet? Well, this Kiss Toilet is a pay toilet. Let's say you have to
They're
make...
bringing that back.
Now listen to this. This is very exciting.
Right.
Let's say you have to make a number 2. You have to go. You
Right.
don't have time to play fun and games.
Right.
Just have some quarters next to the Kiss toilet. You sit down and plays your favorite Kiss song, whatever that may be. Choose from our big, huge catalog. Once a month, at your door, Gene Simmons shows up, knocks on your door. I collect the change. And you get to meet Gene once a month.
Wow.
You want to know something in all seriousness?
Gene is sweating.
It's not a bad idea.
Gene, the last time you were here, you talked about a Kiss coffin. Was that a big item? Did people
It's
buy it?
huge.
It's huge.
What's
Well, the
happened
coffin is huge.
Yeah, it is. It's the size.
Oh, you,
It is the
Robin.
size. There it is. It is the
Yeah.
size of a real coffin.
No, it really is a real one, but it also doubles as a cooler.
Trying to get the Kiss coffin in there. So, yeah, that's Craig Gass.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, and I'm now a fan of Gene Simmons because he was having fun with that.
He was enjoying it. Yeah. Oh, this is Gene Simmons from Kiss Incorporated. That's pretty funny. You liked that one.
Yeah, it's good.
I was watching another video with Craig Gass. I guess he had Lars from Metallica, and he was doing his Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons impressions, and Lars was falling for it. And he was telling me, as Gene Simmons, he was saying, you guys have stolen some Kiss stuff on this latest album that you put out. And Lars was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, well, it's not very original. It sounds like Kiss music. Like, what do you think is an original song on there? And Lars says a name from Saint Anger, and he goes, "You ever heard Beth?" And Lars is like, I don't. How is that related to Beth? He was just fucking falling for it. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's good.
Craig Gass is a funny guy. You know who else is very funny? Is Adam Carolla, who was also, along with Jimmy Kimmel, sitting in the Jackie chair at one point.
Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla were all right, but Adam just never shut the fuck up. Besides, they already had careers, and I'm sure they wouldn't have made the move even if they were offered the gig.
I can't believe Adam Carolla wouldn't shut the fuck up on a talk show.
Yeah.
What an idiot. What was he doing? Telling jokes and being fun? What the fuck's that all about? What an asshole.
I didn't pull the clip, but on the heels of that, I don't know.
I have it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. No.
Please continue, sir.
I'm going to need you to have one of those drops that you grabbed ready to go.
Okay.
Because, he talks about Adam Carolla being on the show. And
I remember once Adam decided to cut me off in the studio telling me to shut up, and I wanted to punch him in the fucking face. This guy could dish it out, but just couldn't take it.
Exactly. Yes, we're on the same page. He says it in the next chapter after saying, this Fred guy, man, he's got a fucking temper. He gets real angry. And then he goes, Adam Carolla told me to shut up once, and I wanted to murder him. Well, no, maybe you probably should have shut up. Because Adam Carolla actually makes a career being a talk show host. Right. And also, that's another thing that, I don't know, I guess John isn't aware of this, but Adam was offered the job over Artie Lang. And Adam's like, well, I host a morning show in LA that's on multiple stations, but thanks. Adam Carolla's had a career in entertainment for a very long time. Loveline, The Man Show.
Why wasn't John in the room for that meeting? That's weird.
Yeah, go figure.
He seems to be the puppet master
here. The
here.
co-screener wasn't brought in for that one. He didn't know that was the deal. Holy shit, he's so fucking stupid.
And delusional.
All right, so then Artie comes in. And Artie does this thing where he laughs at his own jokes with his raspy voice.
But there was a problem. He laughed in that raspy tone at his own jokes incessantly.
So John doesn't like it when you laugh at your own jokes in a raspy tone.
Yeah, this pissed me off.
He's got his leg on the desk here. I said, hey, look, he's got his leg up.
I see why you make money. No, seriously. So
John has turned into an Artie impression, like an over-the-top Artie impression at this point. Every single time he's like,
Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
I know.
The balls on this guy. Here's another example from that Cedar Rapids interview he did.
No,
with Ricky, I should point out, was the name of the host of this radio show.
No, I do appreciate it. Listen, thanks, George, for having me.
I got your first name right, Menendez. Okay, it's Ricky. All right.
Wow, what a ridiculous, over-the-top, fake, raspy laugh that is, John.
I'm not talented. I'm not funny. I'm an ingrate.
He's amazing. He's a miracle. He really is. So he decides that Artie Lang isn't great because he's laughing at himself all the time. So in John's world, it came down to either Artie Lang or AJ Benza to fill the Jackie chair. And this is something that Artie had to do something about. Because, as you know, we've had AJ on the show. AJ and Artie had a little bit of a tiff. And AJ punched... AJ and John.
Right.
And AJ punched John when... And he tells this whole story, but I think we covered it pretty well on this show, if I'm not mistaken, where AJ was on there and all the phone calls that were coming in were like, AJ sucks, get him off the show. And then John decided to call in with a fake voice and act like he was a caller, and he told him he sucked. Oh, well, you know what? Actually, I think I do have a clip of him because he talks about, I might have it. Anyway, he talks about some of the hilarious jokes that he had. And all right, so this is the craziest part of this chapter. I'm sorry. I don't know how to present this. I'm so excited about it. This is insane. So Artie was on the Conan O'Brien show. And so John comes in and says to Howard on air, did you see Artie on Conan O'Brien? And remember, John's trying to explain that he wanted Artie to get the job over AJ Benza. This is the whole point of this, according to John.
I caught his appearance on Conan, and he did the same annoying laugh after every joke. Now my plan came to action. I went in the studio, stood at the podium, and asked Howard if he saw Artie's appearance. Howard said no, how was he? So I did my rendition, goofing on Artie's incessant laughing. He had no comeback. He just sat there and shut up. I swear to you people, this was a conscious effort by me to ensure that Artie got the job. I disliked AJ with a passion, and I wanted Artie.
Okay.
I'm so glad that you're covering this because I was so confused about how him standing at the podium doing a terrible impression would ensure anybody's employment.
Howard, that guy who's trying to get that job, he's terrible on late night shows. I just watched him last night on Conan. He was terrible. He was so obnoxious. He's just laughing at his own jokes. He sucks. And that's how I was able to get Artie Lang the gig on the Howard Stern show, according to what he just said.
Yeah.
This is specifically what he said. So let's find out how John was actually the mastermind behind the replacement of Jackie Martling on the show.
The good news, though, was that he stopped the raspy laughter after every joke. My plan had worked. I don't care what you think, but this is the God's honest truth. I would swear on a stack of Bibles. I did it to help Artie, not hurt him.
You might think that, which would be crazy if you did, but it's not true. You idiot.
That's such a tell, and he had 3 introductions to that tell.
Right.
I already forgot what they were, but the stack of Bibles really distracted me.
Well, anyone who's telling the truth doesn't say, I would say this, I would swear on a stack of Bibles.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he says, I'm not going to lie. He goes, you might not believe me.
Right, yeah.
Like every single thing he puts in there, you're just like, dude.
So I shouldn't believe this guy, right?
You're obviously lying, because someone who's telling the truth doesn't need to remind us that they're telling the truth over and over again. Yeah. And it doesn't even make fucking sense.
No.
He was trying to say that. Now, also, let's keep in mind, he was giving everyone advice behind the scenes. Hey, Richard Jenny. Hey, Jeff Ross. Here's what you got to do. But with Artie,
he loves to help people.
He had to give him some tough love on the air and let him know. Yeah. And that was the only way Artie was going to realize, oh, I got to stop doing that. Thanks, John. No, you were busting his balls. By the way, John is a jealous guy. That's why he talks about everyone else is jealous of him. That's why he says that.
That's where all of this is coming from.
Yeah, because John has said many times he wanted the Jackie chair, and then Howard told him, I should have given you the Jackie chair. Remember that?
Yeah.
Which is insane because he goes on to talk about how beloved Artie was.
And how he got him the job.
Well,
lest we forget.
Well, here's this clip.
And also, I want to point out in the timeline, they haven't even become friends yet.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, please continue.
Yeah. And you have all these other people who are on there to varying degrees of success. And it wasn't, I'm just going to point this out. Lest there's any people out there who didn't listen to Howard Stern in the late 90s, early 2000s. Artie was inevitably going to be the guy who took over that role. From his first ever appearance with Norm Macdonald, everyone loved Artie. He was fantastic. He grew up listening to Howard Stern. Him and his dad bonded over it. He knew the show. He knew the people. He was great on that show. I still swear to this day, the Artie era was the best the Howard Stern show's ever been. People can argue that Jackie or Billy West. I'm telling you, it was the best when Artie joined the show. So this whole idea that John goes on to say he's the reason why Artie got this gig is so insulting to my intelligence, let alone anyone else who might be reading or listening to this book.
I went back to Gary's office and Howard picked it up immediately. Then I just roasted him. Hey, does AJ stand for arrogant jerk?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I should set this up. So he's going to get there, but this is him talking about what led to AJ assaulting him.
Right.
Right. So this is when John decides to call in on the air, and this is his great roast jokes, which, by the way, I watched this. These are his roast jokes.
And
they're not good.
A little different from him getting Artie the job. He says, I had nothing to do with this. That's how he sets the table for this.
Yeah.
He's like, it was complete coincidence.
He goes, I was letting all the calls through, and Howard was deciding which ones to pick up on, and he was just picking up on the negative ones. I had nothing to do with that.
Right.
I went back to Gary's office and Howard picked it up immediately. Then I just roasted him. Hey, does AJ stand for arrogant jerk? AJ, your career is disappearing faster than your hair. He walked out of the studio and into our offices. I stood up waiting to see what this Goomba was going to do. Well, the bitch slapped me. I went into hot-tempered Melendez mode. It took Gary and Casey to hold me back. One thing was certain. AJ was gone and I knew it. I swear to you, it was not intentional, but I single-handedly gave Artie the job.
Why would you write single-handedly? I put that in all caps in my notes. Single-handedly gave Artie the job? Artie had nothing to do with it?
Yeah.
Nothing.
It was just a favor.
No one else had any thoughts on this? You just single-handedly were the one who gave Artie the job that he happened to excel at.
And the job that you wanted.
Well, yeah, correct. He doesn't bring that up in this chapter for some odd reason.
Well, he's very humble.
That's not the reason. So after he explains that because of this phone call, because he got under AJ's skin and then AJ assaulted him, that's why Artie got the job, which is also insulting to Artie to say that he only got it because AJ didn't.
Right. Yeah, the booby prize.
What? Yeah, come on. And then I guess Donald Trump called into the show.
So weird.
To give John some advice.
Walk out right now and sue, you'll get millions. I couldn't do that. I would never sue Howard or the company.
He wrote that in his book.
Who are